You have to keep moving forward and keep looking for what's next. And if you want to keep, being a consistent championship caliber football team, you got to make these really, tough decisions every year.
That time, everybody. In fact, it's a day early this week. Generally, it's Thursdays at 4 p.m. as we come to you live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center with the John Schneider Show, but he's been gracious enough to join us a day early because we got Mariners opening day tomorrow and all that pomp and circumstance going on. But John Schneider is here. How are you, man?
Great. Good. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great time of the year, right?
Yes.
Man,
love it.
The opener, that was cool. Spring.
Are you a baseball fan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like going to the games.
Yeah?
I don't necessarily know what's going on, but I like going to the games.
Well, you get three outs.
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
and then you got the Masters coming up, draft. Love that.
The Masters. It's got to be nice, though, to go and enjoy something without having to be constantly evaluating it and going, oh, I like that.
Being stressed out, yeah. Just watch it. I mean, not that I don't get stressed out for the Mariners. I mean, I want them to win.
Sure.
We all get stressed out.
Play the Brewers.
Just a different kind.
Hey, by the way, Dave and I talk about this all the time, the way the NFL has made everything huge. Everything's become a big deal. I mean, the draft now travels from city to city, and you get hundreds of thousands of people that go to the stand to watch a guy go up to the podium and go, with the 14th pick, the Jags select Joe Schmagegi, and they all go, yay! That's the whole thing. I mean, but you get hundreds of thousands of people going.
Schmagegi, is he a guard?
He's good.
He's a good guard. Yeah, I heard about this guy.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on Schmagegi.
Go get that guy.
That guy will create problems.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how it's just every year seems to get bigger and bigger. I mean, the one in Detroit, KC in Detroit. I remember seeing the numbers in the Nashville one was pretty awesome.
Do you think the combine will be that at some point?
Well, it has gotten bigger. I mean, now it's really a primetime event.
They selling
the
tickets
workouts. There? I don't know how they do
Are
it.
people coming
honestly,
in and...
yeah, there's fans in the stadium. Yeah, and they're cheering. I felt bad for Will Howard this year, the quarterback from Ohio State. There's a bunch of Michigan fans there. Every time he threw the ball, they were booing him.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
poor guy.
Well, there's not enough pressure there, right?
He can handle that.
Yeah, he's been through it.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty calm under pressure.
That was probably good for him.
But it has gotten huge. I mean, I'm excited to see what they do in Green Bay because Green Bay doesn't have the infrastructure for it. So, you got people staying in Milwaukee, Madison. I think they have cruise lines coming in right in the on the Fox River there, which is a beautiful river.
Ah.
Yeah, you can't see your swimming suit when you go water skiing. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
That's why I'm off, Dave. I swam a lot in that sucker when I was.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you give me crap all the time, yeah. What's wrong with you?
I swam in that river.
Swam in the Fox River.
I haven't been the same since.
It'll be exciting. So.
I'm really not sure what we're talking about right now.
The Fox River, you've walked over it. It's in Green Bay. It goes right down the middle of the city.
Sounds like it's not very clean.
You've been there. Not very clean.
I get that.
A lot of pollutants, if you will.
Yeah. By the way, somebody texted in last week after you left, and they said, hey, could you guys give me a name of a good offensive lineman in the late rounds? And I said, Joe Schmagegi from High Point University. And he was like, okay, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Did you really do that?
Yeah, I don't know about any guards in the late rounds. But, I mean, we get those kinds of questions all the time. That, people – but do you get people who are, hey, coming up and go, hey, how about this guy? Or I got a guy that I want to show you. I told you one time I had a buddy that won fantasy football, and he wanted a job and things like that. So, I mean, everybody's an expert. Right?
No, we took my son Jack out for he was back, for spring break, and he's 21 now. So Tracy and I took him out I forget now, sometime last week. And this guy came up to me and he's like, how you doing, man? I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? Everything okay? He's like, how you doing? Wow. He's looking at me like, wow, a lot going on. I'm like, yeah, it's just normal here getting ready for the draft. Something I don't know. And he's like, got to dress that offensive line, right? And yes, we do.
You're like, I didn't think of that.
Let me write that down.
Good call.
You feel like it's a problem?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, so
this is what you're missing on social media.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm fairly sure.
Hey, what phase are we in now? You've talked about the phase 1, phase 2. You talked about some of the free agents that maybe their number comes down. They're not getting what they thought they were going to get. Where are we at in that process?
Like I talked about last week, I mean, it seems like it goes faster. And so, It's basically phase 2 already. You know, it really started last week. You know, we signed DeAnthony Bell early this week from Cleveland, really good special teams player. At the worst, we have a really good core special teams guy, and Saubert, the tight end from San Francisco. Clint had him, but yeah, and he good special teams player, like tough dude. Brian Schneider was coaching him last year on special teams, loved him as well. So you're kind of in that, like, okay, what's the fit? What's the role? What's the level of compensation? And, you have some players, some agents that are still, holding out hope for, a certain level, maybe it's post-draft, certain level of compensation. And, but it has gone, it seems like it's gone so much faster. And like I talked about last week, that initial period of, that negotiating window, it happens. There's that level of risk, is really high when you're going so fast, spending that kind of money. And actually, we're getting ready to go down to the owners' meetings, so we're preparing on all the rules changes and all that kind of stuff. We're going through some of those meetings, or we had meetings on that this morning, and Pittsburgh presented an opportunity, a rule change that says, hey, during that negotiating period, you can get on a hour-long Zoom call, with the prospect and and the agent, which I think is a really cool idea, because as we've talked about before, you're spending that kind of money, you really want to, look somebody in the eye and have them talk through their injury history, or, if they've had some issues off the field or what have you. You want to be able to, like, really, talk through it with the person. So anyway, yes, it's gone faster. We're in phase 2. Wow, sorry. Rambling man. Sorry.
It's all good. It's the John Schneider Show. You talk as much as you want.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's right. We prefer you talk.
No. Go.
Hey, where are the coaches as far as like the installation and things like that? I mean, they're already sitting down with Sam Darnold and, some of the offensive players.
No, we're still, that was still dead period that way.
Yeah.
Players are coming back soon. But in terms of, like, putting all their processes in place, like ready to go when the players come in, they're ready for that. We're actually much further ahead at this point last year in the their draft process, because they were all coming in last year, just getting used to everybody installing all their stuff, implementing all their stuff, getting used to the IT guys, the video people, getting ready for everything. So they've done a great job with the video interviews, which we study like crazy. They're about an hour long, so we'll have those on while we're studying film. And so we've just gotten through. That's where we are. Trent and Matt Berry, Nolan, myself, we just basically got through the board like a second time, kind of a sweep before we go to the owners meeting. Then we'll come back, a little bit more free agency and kind of loop through that again too. So, but it's really cool to be able to sit there and study, and like now have a better feel for the coaches, how they evaluate players, how they communicate with the players, and then it actually gives us a really good feel when we're studying the players, as well as what kind of fit is it going to be for that specific coach.
How different is it right now versus this time last year? When Dave and I were talking about it, I said it felt like you're cramming for a test, because you had to hire a coach, then you had to hire a coordinator, and you had the draft. It felt like you were kind of behind the 8 ball timing wise.
Yeah.
And now you get the full complement of the off season, the build up to the draft. Obviously, you had to hire a new coordinator for the offense, but you still have the same head coach. Everybody's in place, and they got a year under their belt now. And now it feels like, okay, we know what to expect. Does it feel dramatically different now versus this time last year?
From a communication standpoint, it does. Not drastically, but what we did in free agency and draft prep has been the same. But our communication on free agency much better this year. Because we know the individuals, we know how they evaluate, what they're looking for, how they're going to communicate with their players, and what the fit's going to be, and what the style of defense, and what our offense is going to look like. So much more clear this year, with a wide zone understanding, having been through it with Coach Gibbs and Tom Cable. And what those guys are looking for, it's very, very much position specific on the offensive line. So yeah, it's from a personnel standpoint, not drastically, but yes, more clear. We felt like the coaches are more involved this year in the total process instead of the one-offs. Like, hey, can you go? Can we sit down and study Dave Wyman together? They were further ahead.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that much change in players just themselves, like what they want, what they are like off the field, things like that over the years? I mean, this is 15 years for you as a GM, and you've been in scouting and everything. How have football players changed? And how is it, like, I know at one point it was like they were fed the answers by their agents, and you can always kind of see through that. But as far as what players are like nowadays versus when you started and how they've developed and what they want.
Excuse me, we could talk about that forever. But as of late, when you're interviewing the guys in the acquisition process, draft process, their comfort level on a Zoom call through COVID, and how they, we were studying some safeties this morning, and one of the individuals was talking about how he really learned how to study through Zoom, and how he jumped ahead, how he's ahead of his competition to play like his sophomore year, I think, because of his ability to study on Zoom. And then, probably their ability to, they learn differently, I would think, with all the Madden, the video games, and it's true. I mean, the guys, they're much more, they're visual learners, and hey, show us the play, show us the concept, and then the why. They really want to know the why. Yeah. Instead of like, just go do this and hit that gap, take that guy on. They want to know why. Why am I doing that? And once you and the staff, that was one of the things that impressed us most about Mike, was that defense that they ran and how complicated it was, but everything we heard about the teacher and the clarity and the intelligence and the ability to make it, just teach it in a really concise, clear manner.
Hey, when you guys bring in free agents and you meet with them and then they leave and you don't sign them, is that, I know it's probably unique to each one, but is it generally about money when it doesn't, like Tevin Jenkins comes in and he signs somewhere else for what seemed like a reasonable, I think it was $3 million, something along those lines. Why does him as an example? Why does somebody like that, when you have a need there, get out of the building? Do you see his tape?
Yeah.
Is it just something you learn in that conversation that you go, okay?
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. It could be medical. It could be his personality. It could be financial. But yeah, when you're bringing people in to sit down with the coaches, with the whole staff, see how they're treating everybody and how they're going to be a fit in the building. The people are extremely important to us in this building. They're like our foundational people. And so how are they, how much do they love football? I mean, how hard, what kind of worker are they? And it also gives you more time to do a little bit more research, on themselves, like reaching out to the people who've coached them. What do you think of that coach? There's a whole interview process that I don't want to give out, actually. Good job, though. Good job, Bob. I was headed down that road. Nice work.
Did you look over at Pearson?
No. I just stopped myself. I was like, wow, nice work.
See Dave starting to stand up. Going,
Your doctor's filling me over there, Adam. Man,
I don't think I
April
like your
20th.
attitude.
Yeah, April 20th.
Tacoma Comedy Club.
Sean Kemp and
Gary Payton.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to go?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Adam Ray.
Try to go, too.
Nice.
He's a guy that makes people laugh.
Yeah, I know who Adam is. Yeah. I do. He really endears himself to people right away, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You're just like best friends.
Big time texter too. How did you do that? Yeah. I'm like, how did you do that?
But he's one of those people that won't just send one big text. It's like, hey, send. What are you up to? Send. I'm doing this. Send. Have you seen this movie? Send. It's like ding, ding, ding. He just, yeah. It just
comes in threes.
It's just put it all in one.
Yeah. Well, better that than like the big super long one where you're like, I'm not reading that one.
Just brevity's key.
Hey, we talked a little bit with you, and I'm just wondering, are there some examples of, I thought the NIL money would maybe spoil kids and make it more difficult for them to focus and things like that. But then, you brought up the fact that you can really tell who loves the game.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money and things like that. And so, you have any stories?
Obviously
not named.
Yeah.
But...
No, I agree with you. I thought that was going to happen as well. And it does to some, and it helps the evaluation process.
You thought it would take them away from football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I got some cash now.
Yeah, it's really helped. I think it's really helped, understanding what their passion is and what the love of the game and what team means to them. And, And
but have you had any
guys,
experiences? Not asking you to name names, but where situations or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's several players in this draft that have, are darn good football players that have awesome interviews. That they're presenting themselves great in a really great manner, strong manner, and they've made 10, 12, 13 million dollars already. And I mean, it's pretty cool. 2 cars. There's a guy getting interviewed, and he's like, the interviewer's like, okay, if you jump in your car, and what kind of music's playing? Like, I mean, do you have a truck or a car? And the guy's like, I have both. It's like, okay.
All right.
Hey, check. Alert.
Yeah, right.
Hey, one thing we were talking about before, Dave was talking about the final year of his career, how the coach brought him in and basically said, we're giving you a pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make less here, and you that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Uchenna just restructured his deal. He's taking a pay cut. How does that is that a tough conversation for you? Do they kind of know it's coming? Or
no? I mean, sometimes if guys have a higher cap number, they know it's coming, But it's never it's not fun. No, it's again, it's that guiding light of what's best for the organization, A, and then what's best for the players, B. And if you can connect those two things, then it's awesome. And he wanted to be with us and wanted to stay connected. And he's a champion. He's a champion person. I mean, like the guy works his tail off. He's rehabbing like crazy right now.
What did he have surgery on?
He had a little knee deal, clean up. Yeah, but yeah, it's never. I remember right when I got here, Lofa and I don't want to say we joke about it, but we had to ask Lofa to take a pay cut. And so, I brought him across the street to buy him a beer and have that conversation. And, it's not a fun conversation, but it's that balance of showing somebody, the respect, the love, the want. We really want you here. We don't want to be in this situation. It's not ideal. But, we can talk through it. Maybe you can go in free agency if you want. And check out and see what's going on, or we can just work this out together. And with Lofa, we were able to work it out together. And obviously he's a legend. I always will be here.
Is that
like many guys are? We've been through this. It's hard. You always want guys to end their like none of us want to get at some point, right? Like nobody wants to get let go or shown the door, and that's always a super hard pill to swallow. Like no matter who you are. I remember with the Redskins, we were there a year and got let go, and I was with Marty Schottenheimer. I'm like, we're gonna be here forever,
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years he'd been 10 years wherever he was, but it's not anything that's like specific to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, are there ways that we can do it in a cleaner manner? Yeah, and so we've tried to do that better for our legends, but it's hard here because again, there's so many amazing people in this building, like for the support staff, with Mo and EK and Dave and Sammy and Strick and I mean, there's just so many people. I could keep naming them, but like you get Ivan and all the guys in the weight room. Everybody gets so connected. It's hard to go through that, and I'm sure it is everywhere else. But heck, I mean, I've been through it with Brett Favre and Reggie White and Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. Those are pretty good players. You know what I mean too.
Yeah.
So it just it happens. So.
And you always talk to the player. I was asking Dave, was it weird that the coach was talking to you rather than your agent? Is that
because it's personal? It's a personal deal. Yeah. It's not. Not the most fun part of the job.
Right.
But it's something that has to be done, and you have to keep moving forward and keep looking for what's next. And if you want to keep being consistent championship caliber football team, you gotta make these really tough decisions every year.
Yeah, well, I guess my complaint about it was because it was coming from the coach, not from the GM.
Well, was he the head coach and a GM?
I not officially.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and I grew up with Chuck Knox, and so I was like, Chuck would always be like, "Hey, go upstairs, get taken care of, and then come down here and play. And then he'd run upstairs and go, "You can lowball Wyman," right? So, but yeah, I mean,
oh, that's funny.
But you know, it gets very personal, especially when it comes from the coach. So
yeah, that's why it's always good to have it separate.
Have the buffer.
You know, you have it separate, and the head coach is the individual that has to get up in front of the football, you know, in front of the players every day. You know, primary leader, and then you know the general manager is the person that's hiring the football business.
It's amazing how important the coaches have become. And I've asked you a number of times about this, just because you know, the coaches, when I played, I mean, I had a linebacker coach that he was bald, and during the off season he'd wear a toupee around. You know, if you ran into him on the street, you wouldn't even recognize him. You know, it was like, and so I never saw him like off the field or anything like that. And now they're such a huge part of the guys' lives. And you mentioned Zoom call and everything, and that just, it's an incredibly important. Like it used to be that, you know, Chuck would get his guys. You know, like Abe Gibron.
Yes,
he would bring him in, and one of his old guys, you know, old buddies.
Was it the Bears coach?
Yeah, he was in Tampa Bay for a while. Yeah, exactly. Just this big guy.
Yeah, I was going to say fairly hefty fella.
Yeah, he was a big fella.
Yeah,
but I
big
mean,
bone.
Now, now it's very, very different that these guys are so intertwined with the
I think the guys have a stronger connection to their coaches now. No question. Yeah, you know, it's not us and them. Like and coaches, I think coaches do a much better job of really biting into the person. And hey, I'm gonna help you get better. I want to help you. I want to help you achieve great things. I want you to, you know, be the highest paid at your position, or, you know, maximize your value. We're going to do that while we win championships. And I think that, I've seen coaches definitely, you know, grow in that regard over the years.
So do you have more visits scheduled? Can you tell us who's coming in to talk about O-line play or anything?
We had an O-lineman in this week, Cole Van Lanen, who's from Green Bay, actually, kind of well. Okay. Yeah, he's a restricted guy from Jacksonville. So he would be somebody we were trying to decide to. Yeah, that's the different. See, you did it again. Nice job. I didn't open it up too much here. Yeah, he's restricted free agent, so it's kind of tricky. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. So, but that part of it's not done.
No.
Just say Joe Schmagegi.
I'm gonna use that, Joe Schmagegi.
Yeah. I don't know where I got
from nowhere
it,
high school. Yeah. Did you just make that up, or is that?
No, I heard it years ago, and it just becomes the go-to for random guy, Joe Schmagegi.
Yeah. I had an old scout that used to call me Little All Coast Almost. You went to Little All Coast. You're a Little All Coast Almost. It means I wasn't a very good player, Dave.
I got you.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm sure you were fine. You were fine, John.
All right.
Always great stuff.
Go Mariners tomorrow, right? Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
So is it baseball talk all day?
Tomorrow?
No, yeah. I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys down there?
Yeah, we'll be at
fun.
We'll be at Victory Hall, and then at Edgar's Cantina on Friday. So yeah, we're on site with all the Mariner fans. It's going to be fun.
I'll have to come see Edgar's Cantina if I go to a game. If you guys are down there doing
You
it.
should. Right. You absolutely should. Best margaritas out there. Very good.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Good enough.
You'll like it. You'll like it. We appreciate you.
Oh yeah. Have a great evening, you guys.
There you go. There's John Schneider, everybody.